York are really thrilled about the Mets, I can tell you that. Scott, what are you, a Cubbies fan? Are you a fan of this market at the moment?
Definitely a Cubbies fan, Liz, absolutely. And you know what? I am a fan of the market. I think it's looking very good. Not great, but very good. I am a bit concerned after some of the news today, you know, especially with the retail sales and the consumer.
Why is that concerning? This is stronger than expected.
It's a good thing. It's a really good thing. But what concerns me is how fragile the bond market is and how fragile we saw the 10-year move from 4% up to 4.10 today. That's a massive move on one data point here. So is that going to feed into the Fed? Is that going to, help in their decision making? I still think they're going to cut. I don't think that they would have gone into this, with the cut that they made saying, we're going to take a pause here. That would show that maybe they made the wrong decision. So my biggest concern, though, is the consumer. It's unbelievable to me that in this environment, they are still spending. They are still incredibly resilient. They make up about 70% of all economic activity here. And, the labor market is still holding up, even though it's teetering a bit. But that is my concern going into the end of the year. Holiday spending is, will the consumer be able to still come through the end of the year?
Okay, but Eric's prioritizing consumer discretionary. That's the stuff you want, but don't necessarily need. Scott, it's like you're spanning the gamut here. You got Costco and Lulu as your picks. Scott, obviously we've got all of this exogenous news coming out, geopolitical issues all over the place. It doesn't appear like the markets are shaken or even stirred by much of that at all. As you look at these one-year pictures of the S&P up 33% now? 33 points. So year to date, it's up 21 or 22%. What does end up shaking these markets?
To me right now, when I look at how things are trading, when I look at the VIX, when I look at the order flow here on the floor in the S&P 500, Liz, I think the biggest concern in front of us is a protracted decision on the election. Okay, the market is pricing in, probably a little bit of an edge right now of a Trump win, but honestly, it doesn't matter who wins. The market's going to do what it's going to do, and historically, it shows that it doesn't matter who's in the White House. What could derail that, though, is if a decision is not made for days, weeks, God forbid, even longer. So that is a huge concern to think about. But you're right, the market is shrugging off just about everything else being thrown at it right now. And when I look at volume, especially in the VIX, and I look at VIX futures, it is not showing as much a concern as I would think that it would be.
I just looked at that. The VIX is now below 20, where it has kind of languished for a while. We're at 19.06, looking close to maybe going below 19. So not a lot of fear in this market. Scott, Eric, wonderful to have you. Thank you very much on an extraordinarily busy day. Your perspective is definitely valued. All right, Dow up 172 right now as the bull